What's going on, guys? My name is Nibs Plays Games, and it is my birthday and also International Women's Day. So happy day to all the wonderful women out there. Thank you so much for everything. Alongside me right now is Roller Coaster, and we are ATX VGC. This is Monday Night Friendlies, and we love to hang out here and have fun Monday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard. All right, now we have a game
to celebrate International Women's Day than two straight white guys. Like, I can't think of who do you want to hear that from more?
Exactly.
I will say I am very happy that we have a good amount of like women players in our community, and I'm just really happy about that because, like, from my understanding, it feels like some communities can be off-putting, and I'm glad that we have such good representation in our Discord.
Oh, look at this! Look at tongue in the background here.
Audio is on and loud. Okay.
Oh. So can you hear me?
Okay, cool.
All right, so we have our two players.
I mean, they'll tell us. We don't know.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Sorry, Jimma was talking to us. I don't know if you guys are here.
So we have our two players here that are playing in set number 3 of this day, March 8th, 2021, here on Monday Night Friendlies with ATX VGC. It's going to be Vince versus Esquire. Does Esquire prefer to be called Esquire, by the way, or am I messing that one up? But anyway, Vince has Lapdog here, which is very fun to watch. It's also going to be Landorus and Incineroar, Moongus, and Regieleki.
Yeah, and then Esquire has the Raikou, which is really cool. Another Solgaleo, Umbreon, which can be super disruptive, Tapu Fini, Rillaboom, and Rotom for that nice Fire, Water, Grass core.
I love seeing Umbreon, and Umbreon is like pretty good actually. I need to start making some Umbreon teams. For
Umbreon actually is like a very, very solid pick right now. I tend to think that Umbreon is bad, but I've actually considered it multiple times because Umbreon is something that matches up very positively against the Ghost Horse. It can Snarl, and it doesn't have the risk that Incineroar brings of triggering Intimidate against Landorus immediately. Umbreon is bad.
I was actually looking up in the Skype call at Chase to see what Chase's reaction was, and then I look in the chat and I see Umbreon is bad. It's super bad from Chase.
I don't think it's super bad. I think it could potentially have, like, if you're really Ghost Horse weak and you don't want to add Incineroar because you're worried about like Defiant Thundurus, I think that Umbreon is a good pick. I'll say that from Chase. But
I'm excited for this one here. I'm not too familiar with Vince and their playing style, but I know Esquire is a very talented battler, and there's an Umbreon on Esquire's team, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, again, like your other favorite, Lapras, like you're getting everything you want tonight, man.
Exactly, and I'm currently using Lapdog as well, so that's super fun. And 4 of these Pokemon are actually on my team with the Incin and the Amoonguss, and Pickley is hilarious in the chat there saying, birds are the real eye. Realize.
Very deep, very deep.
Oh man, the birds work for the Borg. I don't know how to say that word. Darn it.
Okay.
Darn it. You got me, Chase.
Don't trust the burbs. I don't know what Chase is referencing right now. Umbreon is hot, okay.
If this is shiny Umbreon, then yes.
We are getting some interesting conspiracy that the Santa and a bird has never been seen in the same place ever, I don't think.
Well, that's fair. That's actually fair.
Mm-hmm.
How did you just know?
So we should probably actually commentate the match and talk about the potential of Santa being a big pile of birds in a red suit.
Santa is like 10
that would explain how they get down the chimney, because it's a bunch of birds in a suit, and then they just burst to go down the chimney and distribute the gifts.
I just picture like a pigeon like holding its wing up, and then like four things go down, and it turns its like arm up or whatever, and you see a thumb. And it's just like, yep.
So anyway, back to actual Pokemon. Lapras might be kind of a risky lead here, because like usually whenever you have a core like Lapdog, you know that they're probably going to try and lead Lapras and get the screens up as soon as possible, so they have them for as much of the game. But a Pokemon like Rillaboom and even Rotom Heat kind of make that and Raikou. There's a lot that can pressure this Lapras really early on, so Vince may not really want to bring it out immediately.
Yeah, so we are going to see shiny Solgaleo next to what looks like shiny Raikou. over there for Esquire.
And it's actually going to be Alecki and Zacian on the other side. And we know that Zacian cannot max, and Regieleki usually doesn't match. So this is actually kind of a nice turn where you can just think like, okay, I don't think you're going to max either of these Pokemon, so I'm just going to chill and take my time right now. You don't have to worry about immediately like getting hit by 140 base moves that also drop your defense or increase your opponent's speed.
Yeah, I don't mind seeing Esquire go for something like a max. Actually, never mind. I thought that was something else instead of Raikou. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right, so Solgaleo here is going to go for the Protect. And Thunderbolt coming out from the Regieleki into the Raikou does quite a bit of damage, actually more than I anticipated. Sacred Sword coming out from the Zacian into the Raikou. It's a double up, but not quite enough to get the KO. Raikou opted for that Bulldoze, so it's kind of funny. We've seen 2 Solgaleo so far, and 2 of its partners going for Bulldoze. They've been different partners, but they've both done the same thing, so pretty cool. We're going to see speed drop here from Vince's side of the field. It's going to be the Zacian getting some chip damage, and Regieleki taking a little bit more than what I'd consider chip damage, just under a half health.
Yeah, I like that decision not to let the Solgaleo take any damage. You can try and get some speed control. I don't know if Raikou can outspeed Alecki at -1. Alecki is very fast, although Raikou is faster than the other dogs. I believe it's base 115 speed. It really is going to depend on how they're trained. It should outspeed the Zacian, but if Esquire can get off another Bulldoze and proc the weakness policy, maybe get like a Quake into either one of these spots, they're probably going to be moving along.
Absolutely. And saying thank you there, brother, for the birthday wishes. Oh, 11. Nice. Very nice. All right. So we are going to see a Dynamax here coming from, I believe, Esquire. And it's going to be the Solgaleo. So we see a Clifford the Big Red Dog coming out here for Esquire. I just realized many of you may not know who Clifford the Big Red Dog is.
Fairly sure that stayed consistent throughout pop culture, like with kids, but Alecki does remain faster than Raikou and gets off a Thunderbolt before it's able to proc the weakness policy.
And we are going to see a Max Quake coming out from Solgaleo, and it's going to be into the Zacian. That does actually way less damage than I anticipated. Yeah, does about 50% total health. Gets the Zacian down just above 1/4, about 30% health. Behemoth Blade is coming out from the Zacian into Solgaleo, and yeah, I mean that's quite a bit of damage.
Yikes! Yeah, so now that Solgaleo is kind of in a rougher spot. I'm genuinely surprised the Quake didn't KO, and that the Behemoth Blade did that much. I mean, it's really interesting. I really like the mechanic that it does the same amount of damage whether or not that you're Dynamax. But
Jake.
but Solgaleo could pretty easily be in range of a Thunderbolt, or just take way more damage than you want it to take at this point.
Chad is cracking me up tonight.
What are we?
I gotta say.
What are we talking about? Are we debating whether or not something is a horse? Is Solgaleo being debated as a horse?
It's being called so many different things right now. We are going to see the Amoonguss swap in for the Zacian, who is at low health. Thunderbolt coming out from the Regieleki into Solgaleo. We haven't seen any hacks here in a while. Still not going to see any. However, there is going to be a Max Quake coming out from the Solgaleo into what was the Zacian, and oh my goodness, that does a lot more damage than I anticipated this time.
Yeah.
That's kind of
weird.
crazy.
It didn't one-shot the Zacian, but it did a lot to this Amoonguss. Ooh, overheat miss. That's really unfortunate.
Apparently, Amoonguss is a horse. So
upside down horse foot. Beautiful.
That actually makes sense.
So, this spot isn't great for Esquire, but it's not horrible either. Like, your Solgaleo is almost gone, but you're getting a lot of damage onto the board just in general. I mean, like, you can Quake the Alecki again for the KO and overheat the Amoonguss, and that potentially gives you a double KO, but it's going to be a little difficult to reposition from that spot.
I gotta stop looking at chat. You guys are cracking me up way too much.
It's your birthday. Do whatever you want.
I know. Seth
I'll
Thunderbolt's
commentate the whole match. I don't care.
So Thunderbolt's coming out from the Regieleki. Does quite a bit of damage. We're going to see a Steel Spike come out from the Solgaleo. That does a chunk of bit of damage into the Amoonguss as well. And we're not going to see a Spore come out because of that. Gets the KO and the defense boost. So Zacian coming back in later isn't going to be as effective as it normally would be. Overheat comes out from the Rotom microwave into the Regieleki. And that's going to be enough to pick up the KO into Regieleki.
Yeah, but the issue now is that while Vince is on their last two Pokemon, it is a Zacian and it is a Lapras, which Rotom's at -2, so it's not threatening a Thunderbolt into the Lapras. Zacian is basically dead, but it can still pick up a KO onto this Solgaleo before, so something like a Max Geyser and a Sacred Sword are beating the Solgaleo. It's pretty easy right now. Lapdog is actually Dog.
So as somebody who uses Lapras probably more than anybody, I feel like I use Lapras more than anybody. I've been using it since Series 3, I think, since the Austin PC, whatever series that was. Rollercoaster can probably tell me which series that was.
That was Series... That may have actually been Series 2. Because that was before like Venusaur and stuff was let into the game.
Yeah. And I took
that was real early.
I took Gothitelle Parish Song Lapras, but I will tell you that Lapras is in fact, wait for it, a horse. It's a water horse, and it is my horse. It's a seahorse, but cooler than the other one.
Not a seahorse, but it's a seahorse.
Yeah,
it's a horse of the sea.
It's the Loch Ness Monster, and we're going to see this beautiful Loch Ness Monster here get the Dynamax in the late game here at this point. And we're probably going to see something like a Max Resonance go out because you really, really need your screens from this point. And what a better time to Max Resonance than into a Protect. And Behemoth Blade is going to come out into the Protect.
Mm-hmm.
Thunderbolt comes out. We might actually just see a Geyser into this Rotom Heat. Thunderbolt gets the KO into Zacian. I didn't see the item on this Lapras, did you?
I believe that it was Light Clay, so these screens are going to be sticking around for quite some time. I do really like that call that it was a bit of a hard read of just like, okay, I think that you're going to try and pick off my Solgaleo right now. It was the right call. Now it's kind of Lapras against the world, and things with that one play, things are looking a lot better for Esquire. I think that I would have preferred to have seen something like a Geyser to try and get rid of this Rotom as soon as possible. Now you can try and Sunseal Strike and Thunderbolt and just get as much damage as you can, and then hopefully have Rillaboom be able to wrap up the game in the end for you, if that is what's in the back.
Yeah, so we are going to see a withdrawal of the Rotom Heat, and Tapu Fini is going to come in as the replacement, and that's probably a very good swap, as it is Lapras against the world. I know Lapras is the best Pokemon out of all the Pokemon to ever exist, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to handle the rest of Esquire's team here in these circumstances. I see Chase looking at the video right now like, what are you talking about, Nibs?
It's his birthday, Chase. You can't judge his Pokemon takes. But I will say that although I agree with Nibs, Lapras is the greatest Pokemon in the universe. It's his birthday. I don't think it's going to be able to break through this Tapu Fini. It could have Freeze Drive as its coverage move, but because it's in Max, it doesn't have the option to go for that right now. So Tapu Fini can just Calm Mind, start getting special defense boost, so you'll be at +2, so Freeze Drive will be doing way less damage. The Misty Terrain is up for a few more turns, so Freeze isn't even going to be an option for a while. So I think Tapu Fini just needs to set itself up and then just finish this thing off with a couple of Moon Blasts. Pulls a Slinky.
Nice. Slinky, I love that one. ATX VGC, I thought it was an established fact that Lapras is the greatest Pokemon in the history of the universe. Facts. I love that. So Max guys are coming out in the rain, targeting down Paris song though. What are you laughing at?
the message that Chase just sent us that we probably shouldn't repeat on stream, but
okay, I'll look at it later. But, yeah.
Okay, so Turtle has pointed a very important win con that Mint still has, which is Perish Song, because if Fini and Rotom cannot break through this Lapras fast enough, Lapras can just Perish Song to win the game. I do really like the card to I do like the call to target it to protect the Rotom, because you're like, okay, you don't have a way to hit my Feeny, so I'm just going to protect Rotom right now.
Yeah. So we do see Thunderbolt come out from that Rotom Heat going into what is the last mon there, is the Lapras. Does quite a bit of damage, and it's going to be a double in as the Moonblast from Tapu Fini comes out. Doesn't get a special attack drop this time, although it did last time, and that's going to end up being a massive factor, I think, in how this game ends up playing out, as that the Freeze Dry that's going to go into the Tapu Fini, or it might not get a chance to at this point as the Lapras is at such low health.
Yeah.
It would have done a lot more damage than it would do now.
Yeah, it looks like there was too much offensive pressure for Lapras to be able to set up something like a Power Song. Like, even if they had gone for it last turn, they probably would have needed like a Power Song and then a triple Protect to win the game, which is pretty unlikely, but it's the only way that you were going to win that.
Yeah, absolutely. Lapras used Gallop.
So, I mean, like, I feel like that game went pretty well from both ends.
Mm-hmm.
There was some good Dynamax stalling and good chipping of the Solgaleo and like trying to reverse sweep with Lapras in the end. I think the only thing where things really went wrong is the choice to set the screens early as opposed to just try to take the Rotom out immediately.
D-Punch, thank you for the follow.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And that even may have felt like it was Vince may have felt like they needed to make a read at that point, because if something like the Rillaboom was in the back and they did go for the Geyser and it takes like no damage from it, it then has the option to go for like a Wood Hammer that turn, or something like that. But the Rillaboom wasn't even brought, which I thought was interesting.
You want to hear my take from that game there, Roller Coaster?
Yeah, sure. What is it?
So I've been using Lapdog for about a week and a half or two now, pretty close to 2 weeks, and I've noticed that if you can successfully play defensive with Zacian, it becomes tremendously easier for you to win the game.
Yes,
so
yes.
if you go for Protect a lot more often or switch it out, basically if you protect Zacian and take care of Zacian, it's gonna put out tremendous damage later on.
Yes,
and
yes.
that's kind of what I've found using Zacian on my end of things.
Yeah, I would very much agree with that statement of kind of like having the Zacian out to pressure and then playing defensively with it for a few turns, and then maybe whenever you see an opening, go for a Sword Stance and then start like racking up damage. But I would very much agree with that statement. It's super trash if you don't know how to pilot it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to see the Raikou and the Tapu Fini out here for Esquire, and Lapras Regieleki. So we're going to see Lapras in the driver's seat here to start things off, versus last game we saw it in the back, and it was the last thing we saw come out for Vince.
Yeah, I'd say this is a pretty solid-ish lead if you're Vince, because I know that Raikou like may resist the hits, but like Regieleki is going to do a lot of damage into that Fini. You can even max and set the Resonance off into the Raikou. Yeah, like I'd say this is a pretty solid position. I think that Fini probably wants to get out of there and maybe switch into like one of the two electric resists that Esquire has on their team.
Absolutely. So let's see what our trainers have decided to do here. We are going to see a Dynamax straight out of the gate here. It is probably going to be the Lapras here in that Pokeball here for Vince. We're more than likely going to see a Resonance come out right away, probably targeting into that Raikou, I would expect, and either an Electro Web or a Thunderbolt from the Regieleki targeting into that Tapu Fini. That's my prediction there. So we're going to see the Tapu Fini Protect. And Thunderbolt is coming out from the Regieleki. Goes into that Protect from Tapu Fini. Raikou uses Snarl. I think that's a really good play there. Right? Regieleki gets the dodge, and Lapras will take chip damage there, and a special attack drop.
Yeah, and something to note about Lapras is that Lapras is very weak offensively, so something like just one Snarl is incredibly devastating to his damage out point, to the point where when I play it, I say if I can't get a KO, I'm just gonna switch out and start setting up the Zacian. I don't know if Vince is gonna make that same call. The Snarl the miss on the Regieleki is really good because now it's doing the same amount of damage output and go for the exact same Thunderbolt into that Tapu Fini.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we are going to see a Thunderbolt come out. It's a repeat of last turn, only this time there is no Protect, and oh my goodness, that does so much damage into the Tapu Fini. It's a one-shot. So that Snarl not going into that, as you mentioned, was as big as we're seeing it right now. So another Snarl going into the Lapras, and one added into the Regieleki this time, however, and just chip damage to both of them, and Snarl doing what Snarl does. So it is going to be a Max Geyser, and -2 Lapras, hardly doing any damage into a resisted hit from a Max Geyser. The biggest attack that Lapras could have potentially gotten off there into the Raikou, and my lord, that was hardly anything.
Yeah. Like I said, like Lapras does not like to take any form of damage reduction. Its damage output already isn't that great. Now the Lapras is kind of stuck in this awkward spot where it's just like not really doing anything. Regieleki also took a Snarl with, which it got the Tapu Fini out of the way, but now Solgaleo's on the field, and now like with the addition of like the Snarls, Quake boosts are also going to start stacking up. And I think Solgaleo may be able to make put a lot of work in right now.
Yeah, so the Regieleki is going to swap out, and the Amoonguss is going to come in for it. Let's see what else goes on here. We are going to see a Dynamax from Esquire. It's going to be a Cherish Ball. I think that's Raikou.
No, that's actually the Solgaleo. We saw it in the Cherish Ball in game 1.
Okay. Oh, Clifford the big red dog and the Cherish Ball. Very cool. All right.
Yeah, probably just like another Max Quake coming. Oh, that's right. It's weakness policy. You can do the weakness policy proc. Yeah, Solgaleo's gonna put in a lot of work right now.
Yeah, I think we may see Solgaleo do Solgaleo things. You're going to want to KO that Amoonguss, but fortunately enough, it was swapped in this turn, so it's not going to get a Spore out just yet.
But the other nice thing is that Misty Terrain is up, actually, like it's not even having the option for Spore, and you can treat it like a normal redirector, which is just like, I'm going to attack your partner, and if you don't redirect it, your partner's going to take a lot of damage. Oh, and yeah, with the -2 on the Lapras and the +1 special defense on the Solgaleo, that guy's are just absolutely nothing.
Do you see Saiyin's Zacian emote in the chat?
That's amazing. But now Amoonguss is in range of another Quake or another Steel Spike. You know that there are 2 special attackers on the field, so you might as well just keep increasing your special defense, although you could be a little bit worried about the Zacian. And the only Steel resist on the team that you've seen so far is Regieleki, who is very physically frail. I mean, the screens will help it out, but it still won't enjoy taking a +2 Steel Strike.
Yeah, so Rollercoaster, if I recall correctly, we may be seeing mine and yours favorite move to use in VGC.
It is possible, but I'm not entirely sure if it is going to happen.
All right, so we are going to see a Rage Powder after the Raikou swaps out for the Rotom Heat. And Rockfall is actually going to come out from the Solgaleo at this time and into the Amoonguss. So that's going to finish the Amoonguss off. Let's see what this Lapras opts for here.
I don't think that crit mattered at all. The Amoonguss was super low, and Solgaleo has +2 on its attack. So that was likely going to get the KO anyway. And you're right, we get to see our favorite move in the game, Perish Song. It's not going to create an automatic win con for Vince, but it does do the thing of, okay, you need to switch out your Solgaleo and lose all of your boosts, or it will just die. So Esquire is going to be faced with a decision in a couple of turns of, do I want to switch out my Solgaleo, or do I just want to see if I can get as many KOs as possible right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, if I am Esquire, well, what do you do here, Roller Coaster? Actually, do you just double into this Lapras because you kind of expect it to swap out, or do you not do that because it could also just go for Protect this turn? Why wouldn't it just go for Protect right now?
Initially, like this turn, I would just switch out the Rotom and Steel Spike, and then kind of go from there. So I don't have to worry about losing 2 Pokemon.
Yeah, and then you give the Pokemon in the back the boost as well, and it can hold on to that. So Lapras does go for the Protect here. Max Quake is coming out from the Zacian, gonna be into the Solgaleo into the Zacian, and doesn't do that much damage as that Protect kind of holds it off from being incredible damage.
Yeah, and an Overheat coming out as well. It's a little dicey right now. I think so something that could happen is that Esquire could go for just an Earthquake and a Thunderbolt into the Lapras, and that kind of covers a lot of the options that Vince has. Like, it'll KO Regieleki if it switches in, it'll get the Zacian, and it'll get the Lapras if it stays in, and then you can just kind of switch around to whatever you feel can best 1v1 the Lapras in the end game. Because not switching out the Rotom that first turn kind of makes it a bit more awkward because you only have the one thing in the back that you can pivot out to.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is turn 2 of Parish Song. So these two players are in kind of a weird situation. Zacian outspeeds the Solgaleo, but I don't think Solgaleo is really at a threat of being KO'd right now. So I think the favor is of Esquire in this situation, in this turn.
Yeah. Lapras switches out, and I believe it's the slowest Pokemon on the field, so it seems that Esquire did choose to stay in. Like I said, if this is an Earthquake Thunderbolt, I think that kind of covers every single option.
Yeah. And it is going to be an Earthquake coming out from the Solgaleo. Levitate from the Rotom Heat prevents it from being hit by damage, ground type attacks, I should say. And it's going to be a double KO. Regieleki switching in, getting knocked out. It's a crit on Zacian.
Critical hit on the Zacian.
Yeah, I don't think that it matters though because of the +2 on it. It's just +2, right?
It is just +2. That crit, it may have survived without the crit, but it definitely wouldn't have survived Earthquake plus Overheat from the Rotom. So like, unless it was going to be a dodge, it would be fine. But now, Esquire needs to make a decision on what they think the best thing is that can 1v1 the Lapras.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting situation here. You do have the Solgaleo with all those boosts, but it's going to be the end of the game here for the Solgaleo, actually, as the Rotom Heat is going to swap out into the Raikou. So Solgaleo will faint after this turn. Lapras will go for Protect, and we will see 2v1 here, and it's going to be 2 electric types.
Stone Edge! It's not Rock Slide, it's Stone Edge. That's way scarier.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's got to be a what, base 140 Rockfall?
Actually, it has the exact same max move as Rock Slide, so it's still 130 or 120, whichever one it is.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a crit chance.
So this feels like a little scary because potentially Lapras could go for the Perish Song here. Well, actually, no. I think the best play here is to Thunderbolt. You'll do a lot of damage to the Lapras. You kind of, if it goes for the KO onto the Rotom, you can just keep Thunderbolting with Raikou to win the game. And if they do go for the Perish Song, you can Nasty Plot on the Protect and then Thunderbolt again for the KO. I honestly think that Vince's best chance at winning is to Perish Song and then get a triple Protect. Maybe they didn't have the Rock Slide TM. I can't find Rock Slide. I'll just settle for Stone Edge.
Looks like we're going with Stone Edge. So it is going to be a Protect here from the Rotom Heat, which I took some heat earlier for calling it a microwave when apparently it is an oven. So it is going to be a Thunderbolt going into the Lapras. Perish Song is going to come out from Lapras. What do you just do you triple Protect after that?
Yeah, that Protect kind of a little risky there because you give Lapras the option of setting up the Perish Song. Maybe Esquire thought like, okay, my double Thunderbolt won't KO anyway, and I don't want you to Hydro Pump KO my Rotom, so I'm just gonna Protect and then the good news is it looks like 2 Thunderbolts will just KO it from both this Rotom and the Raikou,
Yeah.
especially if you choose to Nasty Plot this turn. But I think Vince is going to have to go for the legendary Triple Protect to try and win this game.
If honestly, if this Triple Protect comes out, I'm probably gonna have the same reaction from my VOD the other day, where I just threw my headphones off and just started running.
Yeah.
From excitement.
Lapras doesn't even get the double, so yeah,
man.
just one of the Thunderbolts from either of these mons is going to KO.
Sorry, Lapras.
Yeah. Rip Lapras.
All right, guys. Well, that concludes our third set here of the evening, commentated by myself and Rollercoaster. Once again, happy International Women's Day.
Yes, and once
Go
again,
ahead.
happy birthday to you, Nibs.